Alright, so we are here now with another round of ranked. We are up against Green-White Angels. Now, knowing that, I go on a mulligan to 5. I find double biotech, which is going to be great for my support here. So I'm going to have to go down to 1 biotech and hope on heck I can draw a land and don't get disrupted. So this definitely, to me, the green Llanowar Elf off of a Temple Garden 100% leans towards Angels. And there's the Righteous Valkyrie, so that's immediately target number 1 that we have to deal with. We're actually pretty lucky though, because Biotech's ability to hit damage here will save us a bit of time, because Valkyrie's Anthem effect is contingent on a life total, so lowering their life total here is the key thing. Opponent seems to be assessing what's going on. There's a Gallia, they go up to 18 again, they hit us down to there 2. Right, I'm going to go with the Bring to Light here. We have a full 5, so it's time.
Reload!
We've drawn the board wipe, so we'll just go here with a full spread. 5 interactive spells. That's good for us. 4 of these actually kill everything on the board, so I'm 100% okay with that. Now, this deck's primary removal, I believe they might play it here, is the Skyclave Apparition. The rest of the time they just want to overpower you with a ton of angels. So they will literally, Resplendent Angel's the big powerhouse. So that at the end step they'll make another angel and go wide. We don't have the double white here for the removal for a Clarion. So we're going to use Multi-Collapse to get rid of the Anthem Pump here. And then we'll hold back. We're going to hopefully try for them to pump more creatures. Also, killing the Valkyrie does take away the Anthem and also cuts off their incidental life gain with the Resplendent Angel. Like, those two cards together are the powerhouse of this deck. They will give you, like, so much value. Right, a 7/7 Vigilance is a little too strong for us to block. We still need to find this white mana if we can. They go for Skyclave. I consider countering it here. But I'm like, yeah, I'm going to let it go, because if we can draw the white to Clarion here, well, we find another biotech, that will find us the white mana we need, so let's go with that. And then we'll just hold back. The Noble Lies can counter a Kyla's Reconstruction or a Company if we need to. And if they don't do anything too scary in the end step, we'll literally just grab the... Yeah, we can't go too low, so we'll block here, and we'll go down. Lose Niv Mizzet, pop the Lander token in the end step. They possibly have a Company in response to us using this board wipe, so that top deck of another is great. So let's go with a Supreme Verdict, kill everything and get a 2/2. The Tyrant Scorn can kill pretty much anything we need here. So there's the Company I was expecting. But yeah, 100% killing the Righteous Valkyrie. So they gain life, go up to 28. They do have a Gallia here. And they have another Kyla's Reconstruction. Finding more angels, which is crazy to me. Right, play a land tapped. Alright, I'm looking at my options here, and I'm thinking Bring to Light might be the best. So, we are going to Bring to Light. And I'm looking through all the options, and no, we just have to have another reload here.
Reload!
So, Resplendent Angel has the ability to pump itself and give us a lifelink. I think they're going to be cheeky and hope that I don't know that it has that ability. This is a thing I would always say. If someone does something very strange like this, so there's a Righteous Valkyrie, it becomes 6/6s. Yeah, we'll concede. We were dead to the swing in. We couldn't block enough to survive. Honestly, then, yeah, even the client nearly crashed on how much swear word that was. So, pushes come in. Knight of Autumn comes out. And so does the other things. As I said before, the big killers of this deck are Righteous Valkyrie and Resplendent Angel. You've got to answer them immediately, because they will just run away with the game. Gallia is really strong, but she's not the, alarm blaring card. So, we'll play a tap land here. We have... yeah, there's a turn 1 Llanowar Elf again, so they're on a big ramp up. Let's get a biotech here. We can get a slightly ahead of curve here. There's a Resplendent Angel. I'm actually going to destroy that with the pulse and just hit them. like I said, their life total is contingent on them getting their Anthem push. There's a company, so this is another amazing curve for them. Archon of Emeria shuts down our... yeah, I make a misplay there. The land enters tapped even with the Archon. So in response to the attack, I'm going to Assassin's Trophy that. Their biggest thing in their deck costs free, because they obviously just want stuff to go over the biotech. So we'll play a land tapped. We're going to play the Valky here, and we find that they have no other creatures, so this is good for us. Valky can also just chump if we have to. Biotech will chump here, well, trade. And they're just drawing the mana dork side of their deck, so this is kind of like the balancing act to... This is how it is when I play Angels. I draw the mana dorks and the little things. I never draw the big killer angel finishers or the companies. Right, I'm going to use Bring to Light here. And yeah, we go for the reload because we're out of cards.
Reload.
3 cards hit. Pretty solid. I'm going to swing in here because if they want to trade a Llanowar Elves for this, I'm totally fine with it. We've had its effect. And like I said, yep, they just concede because, well, they didn't have anything. I'm really not a fan. I take out the Unboard Ego here, and I'm going to take out the Clarion, which is a bit risky, but honestly, if they get their Anthem from a Resplendent Angel, Clarion ain't killing nothing on their board. Well, maybe they're mana dorks, but that's it. Okay, this hand is slow, so I mulligan. And I'm going to get rid of this Assassin's Trophy. So we are contingent on drawing lands here. But we have Helixes, which is huge for us. There's an Archon of Emeria. I learned from my lesson and realized this land is going to come in tapped, so I just let it come in tapped. There's a Redain. So we'll play another tap land here, and we'll pass back. We can hold up a Lightning Helix here, which is pretty sweet, because Lightning Helix nullifies the damage if it resolves. So we'll just Helix the Archon. And we take 2. There's a Kyla's Reconstruction to find a single Llanowar Elf. Then we'll play the Ancient Cornucopia here and pass back. We do have a push that could answer anything. Not that, but could be pretty good here. Right, I'm going to push one of their Mystics here. Gain a single life to, like I said, keep ourselves healthy. I'm going to cast the Niv-Mizzet Supreme here and play a land tapped. Pretty solid blocker. So they go for the attack with the Resplendent here. I'm happy for the trade, because they're just going to have to spend the whole turn doing that. And they don't know that we have the Bring to Light here that we can now do for 7 mana to grab an Niv-Mizzet to go for the reload.
Reload.
Alright, we find another Bring to Light, which is pretty good. A removal spell and a counter spell. Skitterix the Augmenter, which is the Spider-Man symbiote, Spider-Man, whatever. God, this set is a mess. I love some of the cards from it, but God, this set is a mess. Right, I'm gonna get rid of the card that gives all their creatures ward or protection. I'm gonna swing in to keep their life total low, and then I'm gonna play Skitterix the Augmenter. For those who don't know, it basically gives you an anticipate if you hit, and if they kill it, it will go to the graveyard and we can put the counter on something, and then... Oh, there's a Kyla's Reconstruction. I'm going to Helix the Redain here. They have free mana to pay for it, but all they find is 2 little creatures. I'm going to kill the Bishop, just keep them with 2 mana dorks, and they'll concede. Good game, sir. Right, ranked match number 2, and we are here against Mardu Greasefang. And this game, specifically, I'm going to say now, is a lesson in early concessions. So, I'm going to give you a spoiler alert for Head 2, because it's the end of the video. At Game 2, they foresees us, early game, see that we have a Niv-Mizzet in hand, and basically we get to 5 mana and they concede. They didn't check our lands though, because we didn't have blue, so we couldn't cast the Niv. So keep that in mind when that happens. So we biotech and get a mana dork here. We're going to pass back here and feign another spell. Opponent goes up to 3 mana, plays a Bloodtithe Harvester. So I'm thinking this is a Mardu control list at this specific time. So I'm going to pop this lander token. I'm going to get white mana because we have white mana cards in hand. So we still need to draw black here. which we don't, so we'll just pass back. We have no more lies active now for anything that's big and scary. This is where I figure out it's Greasefang. They dropped the consulate skyship, so I'm instantly like, okay, Greasefang. So now this lightning helix to get rid of this, because we've got to keep our life total above 21, because yep, there's an overlord milling up our Hylian. They did not find a Greasefang. So yeah, look at this auto tapper here. It is really trying to like make me not able to cast No More Lies. So always double check. They go for a Vanishing Verse here. I am going to fight over this. Going to let that be countered. And then I'm going to go for the Bring to Light. And I can get 5 life here. And I'm going to get 5 mana with Niv because I need to find something to deal with a Greasefang.
Reload.
We don't find anything to deal with a Greasefang, but our opponent has seen enough. They're struggling on lands and not hitting too good. So, with that in mind, this is a graveyard deck. So let's bring in these Scribble Claws. Now, Scribble Claws, you might say, they're not great against Phoenix, and I agree, that's why I have Deafening Silence. This is more for policing little graveyard decks and an emergency exile a target card from a graveyard. It's also like a cycler, so it's not a dead card if we draw it, and our opponent doesn't switches their graveyard strategy, we can still use it to get stuff out. So yeah, this is our opening hand. It is super slow, we don't have blue mana, they go for a Thoughtseize. And they take the Cornucopia to stop us gaining life, so we just deploy our tap lands here. There's a Clarion, so yep, we'll just deploy more tap lands to give access to Vanishing Verse when it comes up. With that in mind, I'm going to go for the Vanishing Verse here on the Fable. Let's see what they go for. They have another Duress here, so they take another Cornucopia. We draw another land here, so we'll just keep playing lands. I'm going to use this removal spell here because it's sorcery speed to get rid of the token before they make any more mana. And we pass it back. Now, opponent has gone up to 4 mana, has double interaction. We play this land here, and they concede, seeing that we have 5 mana. We didn't have blue guy. You could have kept playing. That always check your lands of your opponent. Make sure the 5-color deck has 5 colors. Alright, we have the final game here, and this is the mirror match. So this is a mirror match against a Niv Mizzet Bring to Light deck. Seeing a Triome is always an indication that it could be a Niv deck. Double Triome definitely is a Niv deck. So let's play our Biotech. So here's the deal, and this is one of the reasons I actually fielded a comment about this recently. One of the reasons why I play specifically this style of deck is these decks right now, Niv Mizzet Bring to Light, like the optimal one that people always play, they're not Niv Mizzet decks technically, they are Bring to Light decks, Beanstalk decks. So like you see here, we get the Unmoored Ego, we name Bring to Light. Because if you look at their deck, they have very minimal 2-color cards. Yeah, you look at this, there's like 2 removal spells that are 2 colors. Most of their one-offs are monocolored things like the Kefka, that's 3 colors, sorry, or the Leyline Bindings. There's very little they have that will straight up deal with this. So if you take out the Bring to Lights of a traditional, not traditional, I shouldn't say traditional, of the current meta Niv deck, the deck kind of just falls apart. I'm counting to see if I can get a Supreme Verdict here to name Leyline Binding, because Leyline Binding would then like cripple a ton of their stuff. I'm going to grab my Yorion here to just show that I'm not caring about interacting. There's a Kefka. So I think that they've put Yorion in hand to get rid of Yorion, so I discard Yorion and they get rid of that, draw 2 cards. So Molten Collapse here, take care of the Kefka. They are never not going to have like a million cards here, but this is the difference of one of the reasons why I like this version of the deck. So they go for a Leyline Binding here to take care of the Ancient Cornucopia, which clearly is trying to stop me gaining 5 life, but you know, I'm okay with that. We'll play Niv.
Reload.
And we can get free cards. Now that's a bad hit for us, but free cards for the other deck, for their deck, is an amazing hit with a Niv Mizzet. Like, you will see very often with these decks that like they'll hit 1 card. and that's not the way I like to build the deck. So yeah, here's their Niv hit, and they hit 2 cards, an Unmoored Ego and a Vanishing Verse. Right, passing back, I'm going to shock in, and then I decide that I could Supreme here, and I think that's the best option. And then I'm going to not do anything. Why did I not do anything here? Oh, we have the instant speed Vanishing Verse for the ley line to get back Niv. They go for the Unmoored Ego here, and I'm okay to let that go because I want to see what their choice is here. No more lies. Interesting, because they really don't want to deal with counter magic. So we lose 2 no more lies here, but we draw another card. Finds us a land. It's another jumpstart target. They go for the attack in here, and I'm okay with the Vanishing Verse here to get back Niv Mizzet.
Reload.
We hit another free. Like, at this point, I should have been aware that the shuffler was against me, because you saw, like in our previous games, we hit on average like 5, 6 like random good cards, and all of a sudden it's like, yeah, you're not hitting anything now. You're gonna hit 2 cards at a time. So I'm gonna remove their card here and Vanishing Verse their Beanstalk, so that cuts back their card advantage. Then we'll just go in for 7, and they're actually surprisingly close to dead here with a Helix, jump-started Helix. That's 6 damage. So if we could find another Helix here, we could actually probably deal with it, but that cornucopia is going to make the maths different. There's a Fable. They're going to gain a life. And they pass it back. So we're going to Helix them in the end step. Hits them down to 10. Draw a card. Swing in. Puts them down to 3. I'm going to use the Wandering Mind here to look for another Helix, so I can double stack the damage, and our opponent sees what we're doing and concedes. Now, unfortunately, that's where the luck of this deck ends, because we suffer to the shuffler in games 2 and 3. It is truly horrific the amount of lands I draw in game 2, and then in game 3 I don't get lands. So honestly, I was just like, yeah, okay, I get it, shuffler, you don't want me to play. And I know the shuffler's not an entity, but we as Magic players do love to blame it, don't we? We do love to go, yeah, so look, 5 open lands, we draw a land. I'm going to do a land count as we go through this. So we draw a counter spell, which is pretty good, so I'm going to shock in to present counter spell. There's land number 2, so draw 2 lands. We'll pass it back. I'm not going to do the full count here. They go for Fable, I'll counter that because Fable's good value over time. But I'm going to use this opportunity because really, nothing really happens here. We get blown out because our deck decides to give us, I think it's 16 lands by the end of the game, including the lands that their Valky, spoiler alert, takes off us. And we draw like Vanishing Verse, which is, well, you would think it's a bad matchup in this card, but honestly, and this is personally one of the reasons why I'm not a fan of the current meta deck, is, I will say here, I'm basic checking them, see how many basics they run, because the optimal Niv list sometimes only runs like 2 basics. But yeah, so here's the truth of the matter with why I don't play the current like top 8 list, or the one that's currently gone 5-0 in a challenge. It is probably the better list, but the style of Niv I like to play, I like to maximize the 2 color cards, like you saw in that list. So here's the standardized Niv 2 light deck that you'll see will run 4 Beanstalk, 4 Leyline Binding, 4 Fable of the Mirror Breaker, 4 Omnath, and then like 5 or 6 singular cards. So that's 20 plus cards in their deck, which are just not hittable with a Niv Mizzet. So my style I like to play is obviously I like to play the use the spells, get a reload, get more card advantage, have the big flyer. I would like 3 cards to be the worst hit I can get for Niv. Yep, here comes a Valky. So yeah, as we said before, they get the Valky down. We didn't draw interaction or ways to deal with it. And despite our best efforts, this Valky will ultimate because you'll see me at the end point, I count, and it's like 16 lands. Like you saw there, that Valky took a land and then we drew a land. Then the Valky will take another land. Like, I don't think this Valky takes any card off us here. And I'd like to point out that I am using the biotech here to literally take out every basic of the deck. So I took out 5 lands and we still drawed 5 lands. Now, yeah, see, Valky hit another land. Like, this game was cursed. Games 2 and game 3. So unfortunately, it's going to be a case of, do they have ways to deal with Yorion and Valky? This is funny. So they go for the destruction here. So I'm going to use the Lander token, and then I'm going to use Tyrant Scorn to bounce Yorion to save it. So that happens. We get our last basic out. We draw another land. At this point, I'm just like, yeah, game, I get it. He's the guy that's going to win this. And I know that's congestion, obviously. Yes, this is me counting lands, getting frustrated. Yeah, you can see from the way I'm moving. And then they take one of our biotechs. Like, I'm not too concerned about that, but this is where we lose the game. So biotech can now block the biotech below if they have interaction here. The one active draw we get is our one of Niv Supreme. And I'm going to go in. What I'm going to do is I want to attack Valky here, because I'm trying to bait out the interaction they very clearly have. So there's the Leyline Binding to remove Yorion. So I now cast Supreme, and if they have a counter spell here that stops the kill spell on the Valky, they've won the game. Or if they have a counter spell for Supreme, they've won the game. Yep. You might notice these are the only 4 spells we've drawn in 15 turns of Magic. Gotta love it, haven't you? There's the veto, and I'm just happy to concede. But again, this is, like we said, the swing and roundabouts of Magic. A win percentage in Magic is 60%, I think, is an amazing win percentage or something. So there is always the variance that you will get bad games like this. Yeah, and then you see here, we mulligan because we had a bad hand. And then I keep this because I'm like, I've got 3 lands, and I can go, as long as I just draw a single land here, I'll be okay. Now, should not have done this. I was tilted from that previous game of drawing like 16 lands here. But all I want is a spell that I can cast. And while I did say previously this would be early concessions, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, you know, I'll give it one more turn. They go up to 4 mana. I don't draw a land, and I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Doesn't feel like a game, but that's sometimes the randomness of Magic.